morning, everybody. How are we doing? Sam here, United People's TV, with a slightly tweaked studio with the whiteboard that I pretty much regret doing immediately. That's going to be the transfer whiteboard that I try and update throughout the summer. You might have seen my message in the members Telegram chat yesterday. You might have seen my message on Twitter asking for players who we've been linked with. I'll explain and I'll run through that in a little bit this morning. You can see we've got two posters on the wall now. We've got the mannequin over there. Eric Cantona on there, of course, in his FA Cup final winning shirt. It's going to be a good show. We're going to run through this transfer board. We're going to run through... Look, it's the season's not even finished yet, right? Season's not even finished yet, and we have had nearly 50 players linked to us. And it feels like this summer, almost more than most, it's going to be a bit of a madness in the window. I'll run through and we'll speak about Neymar. We'll speak about Ugarte, Diogo Costa, Benjamin Pavard, all the names that have been linked basically in the last 24 hours. And then we're going to speak about Anthony Martial being injured and missing the FA Cup final. Yep, we'll speak about that. We'll speak about the FA Cup. My starting 11 and preview is going to be coming out today. A day earlier than normal, but it's almost like it's an FA Cup final. It's almost like it's the last game of our season. So plenty of time for us to discuss that. Who's down there in the comments? Good morning to everyone. Michael Parsons, Josh. We've got Paula. Good morning to you, Carl. We've got One Ton. We've got Chris Jackson. Ant, how you doing? Ian, how you doing? You're saying, is it me or is the camera crooked? No, the camera is a little bit. That's also a little bit crooked. It's not my fault. It's straight. Now I can do. Go away, Ian. Because I've been trying to fix that. Corey, Daniel, good morning to you. Alex, Julie, Cody, Miss Teacup, Fred, who's on Facebook? Kamara, we've got Salman, we've got Gerald Morrison, we've got Lisa Jensen. Good morning to everybody. Now, look, that bad boy, I put this up on Twitter yesterday. I was like, look, over the course of the summer, I want to try and keep on top of the transfer rumors. Now, you won't be able to see this because there's going to be so many names on that board. The text is going to have to be small. So I apologize that you can't read it all. It's just supposed to be something in the background, not something you can like squint and go, oh, I can't fucking read all of that. I know. All right. There's just going to be a lot of names on it. You can't actually read these either. So I'm going to need better, brighter pens. That says could happen. That says done. That says moving. And that says linked. I'm going to try and separate it into the 4 categories. All the players on the left there, you can see, have been linked in some way, shape, or form to Manchester United. I'm pretty sure that I'm going to have to make a bit more space on that board for those names. I can't pull it further forwards. I can't do anything to make it bigger, better. I apologize. I might make a digital version, so please don't be complaining about the fact that you can't see it, the fact blah, 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 blah. I already know these things. I'm trying to, look, it's something I'm doing. So if you don't like it, wow, you're just going to have to accept it. Let me go down here and see what's going on in the comments this morning. Oh, I'll be kidding. Well, hi, Gungshi, man. How you doing, man? Gungshi comes back in and the... Where is it? Let me whip out the Gongshi for Gungshi. How you doing, man? Lovely to see you. And Stu, you're there. Stu, man. Jeez. This community is the one. And Brett is... Man, Brett, how you doing, man? Legends. I can see down here in the comments you're all taking the piss out of me. I like that. It's my homework. Would be easier to do a list of players we are not linked to, says Paul. Maybe. I thought it'd be something fun to do. And I semi-regret it straight away, but I'm going to keep it going across the course of the whole summer. Let's just try and enjoy it. And the reason I'm doing it is because I think, well, I don't think, kind of know. This summer is going to be a pure madness. You got Erik ten Hag. That video I did yesterday was a full run through of Erik ten Hag's interview with Henry Winter in the Times. It was a really, really detailed interview. He spoke about Harry Maguire, David De Gea, goalkeepers playing out from the back with the ball. Spoke about Mason Greenwood. Spoke about the development of Marcus Rashford and Aaron Wan-Bissaka, what he wants to develop next season. It really was a good insight into the thought processes of Ten Hag, also into some coaching. I've really enjoyed the bits where he was speaking about his 4 the 4 things he did to give Rashford the ability to refine himself in terms of creating the culture at the club, motivating him, creating an environment where he can thrive, and also fitness. 1, 2, 3, 4. Those 4 things together allowed Rashford to shine. And he was speaking about Wan-Bissaka. I think if you haven't watched that video, I think you'll enjoy it. I like doing those sorts of videos that give us like genuine insight into managers, into players, into, well, our football club. So if you enjoyed that, good. But let me speak about the main headline of today's show, the transfer circus. Now, Harry Kane is going to be firmly Harry Kane's not part of the circus. Harry Kane, Man United want to sign him. I don't know whether Manchester United are going to be able to sign him because I get the feeling that Spurs really, well, Daniel Levy is really going to dig his heels in. In my opinion, I think Harry Kane will be a Manchester United player. He either signs for United this summer or he joins for free next summer. And when I weigh those 2 things up and the idea of it, I just don't see how Daniel Levy doesn't sell because he's a businessman first and foremost. But the Kane situation, right, is something that Man United need to get resolved sooner rather than later this summer. The Kane situation is not something that United can allow to go until the end of the summer. Andrew down in the comments saying early indications is that Levy is playing hardball. We knew that was going to happen. But that's why we've got to go in early and got to go in quickly with Harry Kane. Because it'll either end in us agreeing a deal for Kane nice and early or in disappointment. But either way, we'll know. And we'll have time this summer because we've obviously been linked with Rasmus Højlund. We've been linked with Victor Osimhen. I don't think Osimhen, even if you want Osimhen, ladies and gents, I don't think Osimhen's happening. It's just going to be too much money. And you might say that Harry Kane is too much money, but you're talking like an extra 30, 50 million on top. YG, you sent a super chat, dude, but you didn't put a comment in. Just fire in a normal comment and I'll try and spot that and read that out for you. And somebody did send a super chat. Rudy, how you doing, buddy? Someone please send in a 5 gifted. I like that. Send in 5 gifted memberships to me. I can't do it on my phone, but I love this community. I think you can do it. Well, I got an email from YouTube the other day saying that they're finally introducing that to phones. So at some point soon, anybody who's watching on your phone and you want to gift memberships, I think you can soon, but not Rudy there today. But Harry Kane, do you want to see? Look at this for a mad stat. Well, it's not really a mad stat. It's just that's how good he was this season. Harry Kane scoring 43% of Spurs' goals in the Premier League. 43%. Absolute madness. And we can scroll down that list and we can see who else. I don't think no prizes for guessing who's going to be second. 36 goals for Erling Haaland, nearly 30, well, just over 38% of City's goals this season. Ivan Toney scoring 35% of Brentford's. But of course, remember that he is banned for 8 months. And I'll be honest, have you seen all the charges, the sort of extent of the charges came out? Where he bet against Brentford to win 7 times. I think all 7 games where he wasn't playing. Yeah, the bets that came out, yeah, they're not good. So he was going to get an 11-month ban, but due to a diagnosis of gambling addiction, that got reduced to 8 months. So yeah, it doesn't look good for him. I'll be interested to see what happens with Ivan Toney after, because he's a very good striker, as you can see there. Ollie Watkins, nearly 30% of Aston Villa's goals. And look at this down here. Marcus Rashford from left wing. And that's the thing I'll always say about Marcus Rashford, right? He scored 30 goals. He won our Players' Player of the Season. Sir Matt Busby Player of the Year. And look at that. Nearly 30% of all of Manchester United's goals. Did we only score 58 goals in the league? Damn. How many does City score? 94. Nearly 40 more goals than us. But look at that. Nearly 30% of our goals. That's an incredible contribution from the left wing. Imagine what can happen if you match that with a striker like Harry Kane. Now, we're not here this morning to get into... we're not going to get into a debate about whether Harry Kane is the right signing, how much Harry Kane should cost, whether he's too old. We've already had these debates left, right, and centre. Harry Kane would be an incredible signing for Manchester United. It just depends whether or not it happens. I don't know what my gut is saying at this point in time. The logic in me says there is absolutely no way that Daniel Levy lets Harry Kane leave Tottenham Hotspur for free. No way. I think that's, for me, you can let me know what you think in the comments, because there's loads of variables, aren't there? Will Harry Kane stay? If he sells, will they sell to a Premier League club? And there's all these question marks. The only one I would probably say with complete certainty is surely that Daniel Levy won't let Harry Kane leave Spurs for free, which opens up the possibility of this summer. And of course, Spurs would prefer not to sell to United. Depends if Bayern Munich come in. I think Bayern Munich, if they came in for Harry Kane, it'll be the perfect situation for Spurs. Well, I say perfect. The least crap situation from this. I think Harry Kane getting linked with Dusan Vlahovic as well. Basically, it's a lot of the same strikers that we're getting linked to. Let's be completely honest. But Harry Kane, we'll leave that for now because I want to move on to other conversations and actual genuine transfer news before I go into the madness of what's going on. Fabrizio Romano just sort of triple confirming everything that we knew about Moises Caicedo. He's leaving Brighton this summer, and I've done my perfect summer, and you know full well that Harry Kane was on my perfect summer list, and so was this man. If I'm looking at my two prime choices for a striker and a central midfielder, I'm choosing Harry Kane and Moises Caicedo. Now I know you won't all agree with that, but that's totally fine. There's a couple of super chats here down in the comments. Let me read these out. Chaos, how you doing, buddy? Sam, you need to paint the back the wall black and use chalk in big letters. I'd have nothing else. It looked like some sort of psycho prison cell where I'm going mad with just transfer rumors. That'd be a bad way to go. Nick, how you doing, buddy? Thank you for the super chat. You're saying with Martial's new injury, isn't it time for us to buy two strikers instead of just one? Martial probably gets injured by tripping over a blade of grass. I'll speak about Martial probably in about 10 minutes or so. We'll have a proper conversation about Martial. I've always said that we needed two strikers this summer. Always maintained that. Regardless of, not really regardless, but as a consequence of what's going on with Martial, with Weghorst leaving. One is not enough for Man United this summer. Next season, we won't find ourselves in a similar situation if we only sign one striker, but we'll find ourselves short in certain games. Lots and lots of you down here, you're all big fans of Moises Caicedo. I think. Is there anybody else that... You let me know in the comments. Is there anybody else who disagrees? Moises Caicedo wouldn't be your number one midfield target. Who would be your number one midfield target? I think you could fairly have a debate around Declan Rice. And I think if the price was right with Declan Rice, I could understand it. But, I mean, look, Moises Caicedo's... Remember, Arsenal had a £70 million bid for Caicedo turned down. So realistically, he's probably going north of 80 million. 80 there or thereabouts, I would probably imagine, for Moises Caicedo. Declan Rice, north of 90. They're going to be pushing towards 100, aren't they? And I suppose, what's the point of getting offended between a 10 and 20 million pound price difference? I think would kind of be a fair point to say. Tavish, you're saying... McAllister, Trevor, you're saying, look, if you're going for the best, why not speak about Jude Bellingham? Yeah, Jude Bellingham's a fair point, isn't it? How much is he actually going to go to Real Madrid for? I think was it like 120, 130? I can't remember what it is, but obviously the absolute best. Some of you mentioned Ugarte, Tielemans for free, says Paula. Well, that wouldn't be your top choice, would it? Well, maybe it would be. Lavia, Ward-Prowse, Ugarte, cheaper, Milinkovic, Savic. Garlic bread man is saying that board will overflow pretty soon. Maybe a Google sheet will be easier. I might do a separate board which is digital, or I might just get one of you guys and girls to help me with it. But I like the physical nature of this because it's part of the show. It's something we can have in the background the whole time. It's supposed to be, you take a look at it and you know what's going on. Although you're going to have to squint because there's so many names on that board. I appreciate that. It's not my fault that we're getting linked with left so many players. And that's what I want to speak about now. And it's the reason that board is up. And it's the reason why this show is, look, Transfer season circus is already in full swing. I've covered Manchester United as a job now for I don't know. Feels like it's over 10 years. Between the website, the People's Person, which I started myself and it just turned into my job, and then with the YouTube channel, with United People's TV, and it's just turned into my job. So I've had the privilege of covering it for 10 years, and I've seen the madnesses of summer transfer windows, and this one is going to be, it feels like they get more and more crazy somehow. As you can see there, it's nearly 50 names on that list that have been linked to us, and the season's not even open. And look, I've already had a dumb conversation around Neymar. And if you want to feed into the hysteria, then you'll have full-blown debates about it. Neymar can get in the bin. Get in the bin. End the conversation. End of conversation. I don't care. I don't care about his talent. His blah, blah, blah. We're not signing Neymar. It's not happening. And then on top of Neymar, you've got Christian Pulisic. Where did that come from? Christian Pulisic yesterday. They said, oh, Neymar is, some sort of seduction going on. Don't know why I'm thinking of Austin Powers. Anyway, Christian Pulisic, add that name to the list. Diogo Costa. This is coming from Ebola in Portugal. Now, the Diogo Costa rumours, let's be completely honest, this is not a surprise. Diogo Costa, if you're looking at goalkeepers, he's right up there on the top of, if Manchester United had enough money and we were signing a goalkeeper, he'd be right up there at the top of that list. 75 million euros apparently is a release clause in his contract. And there might be people down there going, oh man, that is way too much. That is way too much for Diogo Costa. And then I would say, well, how much did Liverpool pay for Alisson? How much did City pay for Ederson? I think Ederson was about 50 million. Was he? Ederson joins Man City. I think he was. Oh no. Damn. 35 mil. Jeez. That was a ridiculous deal. Bastards. Man. Anyway, so it'll be double the price. It'll be double the price of him. But Diogo Costa, I'm not too surprised. Hey, look, why not? When you link in him, why not link? Oh, yeah, Manuel Ugarte. It's on the front page of Ebola in Portugal today. The Man United have entered the race for Ugarte. And Ugarte, as you can see on here, he's already on the board way back when. There he is. There's Ugarte down there. But I don't particularly think, and this is the thing, right? Because Ugarte, if you look at Manchester United's midfield, you might go, yeah, go on in. Actually, I can see exactly where he would fit in. Be there as an alternative to Casemiro. I can understand it. But I don't think it's going to happen. And of course, this is all down to interpretation, right? Geez, yeah, Kepa was 75 million. Oh man, remember Chelsea? You almost forget that Courtois played for Chelsea at some point, don't you? The amount they spent on goalkeepers. Ebola, not Ebola. Who cares? I'm going to call him Ebola because they basically are Ebola of a newspaper anyway. Ugarte being linked with us. Who else we got down here? Oh, why don't we just throw Benjamin Pavard's name on the list? You know, hey, one sec. Isn't Benjamin Pavard? Isn't he? He's thinking about leaving Bayern Munich, isn't he? Yeah. Where do you reckon he could go? Maybe Barca? Yeah, go on in. Throw that out there. What about United? Yeah, United need a... Yeah, go on. Throw United out there as well. Benjamin Pavard. Add his name to the list. So that's here in the last 5 minutes. We've spoken about Manchester United signing Neymar. We're signing Christian Pulisic. We're signing Diogo Costa. We're signing Manuel Ugarte. And we're signing Benjamin Pavard. It is we got a cracking team being lined up here. That's the reason I'm doing this video. That's what I'm going to try and sift through this summer. So you've got one place you feel you can go to, that you can trust and go, let's just ignore the paper guff. Let's see what is being said on United People's TV. That's what I'm going to try and present this summer. I might get sucked into certain transfer rumors, reports that maybe I'm biased towards happening, because I know that happens too. But I'll try my best to be as impartial as possible and just try and present the facts. Jordan, you're saying with new owners we can buy anyone, but who? It's a strange falsity, Jonathan. Jordan. Man United's budget will not particularly change this summer, regardless of who our new owners are. We are going to have a budget in the region of 100 and 150 million because of FP, because of restrictions on our spending, because we've lost so much money as a business over the last 2 years, and then restrictions are going to start coming into place because of how much cash we've got, or a complete lack of cash in the business. All of a sudden, we're not going to get 500 million this summer because we're owned by different people. People are living in La La Land if they're thinking that. They really are. But that sort of idea fuels all this. Fuels all of it. And that's why it's probably going to be a bit worse this summer. You can see there in the corner, you might not be able to see, and you can complain about it again. There's Wesley Sneijder and Nicholas Gaitan. Just in case the links come back this summer. Just in case. Jonathan, down there, you're talking about Man United making money. Oh, look, I've already done my perfect summer, and I've already ran through the fact that Henderson, we should be selling him for 30 mil. Maguire, we should be selling him for 30 mil. Scott McTominay, we should be selling him for the best part of 30 mil. And this man here, right? This man. Alex, you're asking if Lautaro Martinez on the board. Pretty sure I put him on. Where is he? He's up there. He's about 8th up the second list. Something like that. He's on there. Nick, you're saying, how will cleaning the debt slate affect FFP? I've tried to do my research into this, and I tell you, it's so complicated. That's why no one's presented any facts about it, because I'm not sure anybody really can at this moment in time. But let's speak about this man, right? My word. Anthony Martial. I did my video quite a few months ago now, actually, where I was like, I'm done. I'm checked out on Anthony Martial as a Manchester United player. I'm not going to let myself get excited by the concept of him coming back. No, it's just never, ever, 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 ever going to happen. And lo and behold, before the FA Cup final, Anthony Martial, a muscle tear? Strained his hamstring towards the end of the win against Fulham. I'll be honest, that's goodbye Martial. Genuinely, I'm not happy about this. I don't take any satisfaction in the fact that Martial's career at Manchester United is now just going to be a what-if story. Past that first season where he exploded as a teenager. Was it 15 goals I think he got in that first year under Louis van Gaal? Man United are going into this FA Cup final without Weghorst as our only fit striker. Now, Weghorst can have a little bit of this, a little bit of Weghorst scoring a winner, full pitch celebration, Adebayor knee slide in front of the fans. Brilliant. But we're going into this FA Cup final with not one fit world-class centre forward, whilst Man City are there with Erling Haaland and Julian Alvarez, a World Cup winner and an absolute goal-scoring phenomenon. The issue with Martial is I think we might get stuck with him this summer. You know how it took us so long to get rid of Phil Jones? It took us an extra year to get rid of Marcus Rojo. And other players too. Anthony Martial is on £250,000 per week. He's on a bumper contract. I think that as much as I feel Martial on paper is probably worth, on form, when Martial is playing well, Martial should be worth 20 million this summer. However, if you're, I don't know, if you're the owner or you're the transfer director of another football club and you're looking at Anthony Martial, how can you possibly look at him and not go, his injury record's a bit crap, isn't it? You would. You have to. And there's no way you would pay 250 grand a week for it. Therefore, Martial probably wouldn't want to make the move. Therefore, Martial, he might just be, I don't know. I hope that there's not many examples of this again in the future. This is still a lingering relic of the Woodward management era of Manchester United. We're staring at Martial with a 250 grand a week contract. And we're like, how on earth does he have that higher contract? It doesn't make sense. It didn't really make sense when he signed in the first place. Can't remember when that renewal happened. Was it 2019? Something like that? Don't know. What's that? Super chat there from Danny. You're saying, look, thank you very much, dude. You're saying that Martial's injury could see him stay over the transfer windows. No one's going to want to sign him with the injury he's got. Potentially out of preseason. Well, we don't know how long that injury is. We don't know how bad it is. So it's not to say that it's going to completely rule out a move for him, but it's just that if you're looking to sign him, you're going to be like, just huge question marks around his injury record. Hey, Nick, gee, I've totally forgot about that. Got that Ballon d'Or. Was that the original contract? No, was that the original clause after we signed him from Monaco that if he ever got nominated for the Ballon d'Or, that they would get an extra payout? Something like that. Anyway, we're going into the FA Cup final with this bloke as our only fit striker. And you wouldn't put fit in question marks, but he just doesn't fit the fluidity and the pace of our team. I'm going to run through my starting 11 video at lunchtime today because I think that I want to give that room and time to breathe. I'll let you know whether I think Weghorst is going to start, but according to the Daily Mail, and this isn't exactly a massive. This isn't exactly a massive surprise. Man United shouldn't be renewing without Weghorst or Marcel Sabitzer's contracts. And you'll remember I can remember what the conversations were. Max, you're saying, look, is it 100% certain Weghorst will not be a United player after the summer? Well, it's exactly what we're speaking about now, Max. Thanks for the super chat. But I would be extremely, extremely surprised if Wout Weghorst is a Manchester United player next season. I remember the conversations we first had in January. I did a video explaining why I understood why Weghorst came in. I think Weghorst, throughout his time at United, these short few months, he's plugged a hole. If we didn't have Weghorst for that, especially remember that period after the World Cup, in the build up to the League Cup final where we beat Barcelona, we had Barcelona away the week before, we were flying. As a club, that's the best. That was the best period of this season. That 4 to 6 weeks that culminated with the League Cup final was incredible. And Weghorst played a role in that. After the League Cup final, just like everybody else in this team, he influence started to fade. He really started to look jaded. And it was, man, that miss that he had on Saturday. Was it Sunday? Sorry. Sancho popping the ball back to him at back stick. A goal was gaping and he just absolutely spanked it wide. It's it's quite funny how bad his finishing is. Well, it's not funny, is it? Because, you want United to be scoring goals. But it kind of is semi-funny. Max, I just see there you gifted one membership. What a ledge. Who's a lucky person? Who's trying to find out a name there? Lee Gibson. You've been donated a personal gift from Max. Look at that. Legend. But Sabitzer, again, if we're talking about injuries, we're looking at a player there who, again, I understood the logic and the profile of Sabitzer coming in. Being the energy, being that sort of dynamism that Eriksen couldn't offer. And there were certain games where Sabitzer ticked the box. However, injuries. He's had he had 3 injuries now, I think, in 3-4 months. Marcel Sabitzer will not be getting his contract renewed. Well, it wasn't really a contract anyway. He won't be getting the loan deal extended into a full-time contract. Wout Weghorst, I remember us saying at the start, I think we all agreed that if Wout Weghorst could contribute to somewhere between 10 and 15 goals directly, that's goals and assists, if he can contribute to those, then he has the potential to be given a 1-year contract and to stay on at Manchester United as a different option. He's not done that. I don't actually know how many he's got. Let's see if we can find this stat out now. Where would you go? Oh, Sofa score. He's not scored in the Premier League, you know that. He scored 1 goal in the League Cup. Get a stat. No, I don't want all your cookies. Go away. He's got 1 goal and 1 assist in the League Cup and 1 assist in the Premier League. So he's got 3 goals or assists, including, well, in all competitions. And I said, if he can contribute to somewhere between 10 and 15, then there's a conversation to be had. And he's got 3. Well, there's your answer anyway. Not that you needed that. Hassan, how you doing, man? I think, man, you amazing super chat. All the way from Australia. Love your community network and your videos. Big up to you, dude. Thank you very much for tuning in. But yeah, Wout Weghorst, he won't be. Oh, he's got 1 in the Europa as well. Is it not down there? Oh, yeah, my bad. He's got 1 in the Europa League. So he's got 1. He's got 2 goals and 2 assists. 4 in all. That's not enough. And this dude's contribute. His if you look, I think if you look at like a per minute basis, Martial's return is fantastic still. Like, you know, there's a goal or assist per 80, 90 minutes, however long it is. I know that Martial's got quite a low one, but he's got to go this summer. I don't know whether we will be able to because of his contract. Weghorst has got to go this summer, but after, of course, he scores the FA Cup final winner, full pitch celebration, knee slide, the works. That's what I want to see from Weghorst. I also wanted him to get a sort of a goodbye goal in front of the Stretford end, and that didn't quite happen. He missed that. But yeah, you know, we can, as much as we want to talk about a striker of Harry Kane's level or Victor Osimhen's level, I think we need 2 strikers. We really do, to compete across the course of the season that we've got coming up. We need 2 strikers, and that, whether that's Kane and a Højlund, whether that's Kane and a Thuram, which is what I keep saying. I don't know how Man United are not getting linked with Marcus Thuram. I imagine someone surely got to move for Marcus Thuram sooner rather than later. Neil Evans there talking about João Felix. Why is anyone talking about João Felix? I'm curious. He would fit into a system with 2 number 8s. From a luxurious perspective, I don't think he offers balance alongside Bruno Fernandes. I think both of those 2 players would want to be the same player, would want to be the architect and the creator and the playmaker. We've got Bruno, man. João Felix is not a bad player whatsoever. But in terms of the balance of our midfield, if we had Bruno and João, Casemiro would find himself way too isolated way too often. That's where if you look at something like Casemiro, Caicedo, and Bruno, then that's about balance, man. You can't have too much of one thing and not enough of the other. And I think Casemiro, Caicedo, and Bruno as a trio, they would work really seamlessly and really well together. Whereas someone like Bruno and João together, I don't think that would work. I think United would just get overrun in midfield, personally. What else are you saying down here? Pulisic should get on at Wembley before Weghorst. He hasn't. He hasn't really had much minutes. Anthony, of course, would depend whether he's fit or not. We don't quite know that. Carl, you're saying, Sam, do you think there's going to be any room for Van der Beek going into next year? No, I do not think so. I really don't. Let's have a look at some of the photos of the training ahead of the FA Cup. Mate, Langer's been staying in shape. Look at that. Man's shredded. Ilanga, I think, will be leaving. Jack Butland, I think, will be leaving. Brandon Williams, I think, should be leaving. Plenty of other players training there. Wan-Bissaka. Who starts at right back in the final? Type it in now. I haven't done a poll here. Who do you think starts in the FA Cup final? Wan-Bissaka or Dalot? Personally think it will be Wan-Bissaka. I think if you're looking at the course of this season, first half of this season, nobody would even have mentioned Wan-Bissaka's name. That's how good Diogo Dalot was playing. Second half of the season, no, I can see it is a pretty much a clean sweep of Wan-Bissaka. All credit to the dude, man. Ten Hag, if you haven't watched that video, I remember that video I mentioned here, that one from yesterday. I covered in there a nice little piece. I say piece. A little paragraph from Ten Hag where he's speaking about Wan-Bissaka and what they've done about understanding his character and his personality and what motivates him. Jack Butland, yeah, it looks like he's going to be going Rangers. He was never going to stay. And as I was saying, if I'm looking at a goalkeeper who's going to challenge David De Gea next year, I'm not looking at Jack Butland, who's just kind of happy to be there. Happy to never really play, just happy to take the wage and sit there and enjoy the show. You need somebody who's young enough that they've got their whole career ahead of them. And I sod that. I don't want to sit on the bench. I want to make my own story. That's the goalkeeper I think you need at Manchester United if De Gea is going to stay on this season. I don't think we're going to be able to afford someone like Diogo Costa. Overwhelming. I wouldn't say overwhelming. It's pretty much unanimous. Wan-Bissaka. Wan-Bissaka against Grealish. Mate, I'll be totally honest. I would absolutely have loved United to sign Jack Grealish. Just seemed like one of those players that I think would have absolutely loved playing for Manchester United. And he's really gone up a level this year. Goes to show, even if you're a £100 million player, it can take, of course it can take time. To work yourself into a machine like that, it can take time. And Grealish looks fantastic. All credit to him. Bloody monster calves. Party, what are you saying? We could have been in the Europa League final tonight. What you reminded me of that for? I could be in Budapest. I was in a good mood. Now I just remembered I should be in Budapest. Let's have a look, seeing that. Grealish, lots of you are looking forward to seeing that, man. Mo, you're saying, is Andre from Brazil on the board yet? Is he? I haven't seen those links. Wan-Bissaka will definitely be starting this final, in my opinion, anyway. There's a man himself. There's Rafa. Remember when we all thought Rafa was going to be injured for the season? He came back, and he's looked as strong as ever, really, alongside Lindelof, who's played fantastic. Brandon Williams, I think, should be leaving. Scott, hopefully, should be sold. There's Pulisic. I don't know whether he's going to get his chance. Luke Shaw looking absolutely shredded these days. All credit to him, man. He's got that sort of physique. He's like Wayne Rooney. You know, when you put on weight dead easy, and it's not easy to shift at all. And as soon as you take your foot off the pedal, boom, it comes back on. He's looking in his best shape of his career, and he has done all season. And he's one of the leaders that have emerged this season. You know, we keep saying about how few leaders that we've really had inside this squad. Luke Shaw has massively emerged as one this season. I think Marcus Rashford is starting to develop into that now. I think he's shown that. I'm looking. They call it Big Bone. Sod knows what it is. Let's go have a look and see what else we got. Christian Eriksen. Don't know whether he'll start. Eric Ramsey, of course. Donny. That was someone mentioned. Donny van der Beek. I think we're looking at the last few photos of Donny van der Beek training in a Manchester United shirt. Donny van der Beek's quite an easy, in my opinion, it's quite an easy sale. Easy back to Ajax. 10, 15 million. He'll go on and he'll refine football and he'll probably really enjoy it again. But I think he needs something like that after the up and down few years he's had at Manchester United. Kind of go back to what you know. Some might consider it a step backwards. But with everything that's gone on at Ajax as well, they need players and they need everything to bring them back up to the top. And I think that Donny van der Beek going back to Ajax would be really good for that club and really good for him as well. Brett, how you doing, man? Thanks for Super Chat and the support, dude. Lindelof or Shaw at centre-back in the final against City. We beat City early in the season with Shaw at centre-back, if you remember. You do remember correctly. Shaw's going to be playing left centre-back. There's no way that Erik Ten Hag is breaking that partnership of Lindelof and Varane. it works. It's really, really worked. And also, we need Luke Shaw overlapping on that left flank too. Scott McTominay. There's Mitchell van der Gag. There's Wout Weghorst doing his tick. Do you think Eriksen will start in the final? Type yes or no in the comments. Because I think there's a possibility he doesn't. I'll run through and explain exactly why in my starting 11 video that's going to be going out at lunchtime today. But I think I'm not just talking about City away. I'm talking about games where the pace is really, really high. I'm not sure whether Saturday is going to be a game where it suits Eriksen to start. I will explain why. It's definitely a mixed bag down there in the comments. Lots and lots of you don't think so, but quite a few of you do. I'm not sure. We'll find out. We'll find out. As I said, I'm going to run through my starting 11 because I think it's going to be a really interesting 11. There will definitely be some changes. Who's that? Don't know. All the boys having a run. And that's Scott McTominay's back. Great picture, that one. Ooh. Last couple of minutes of the show. Everybody can fire in your questions. Remember today, by the way, in the last 6 hours, I think it is now, the last 6 hours for this raffle, I think I've pushed it. Well, I tried to push it most shows. That's it there. The raffle closes in, I think, about 6 hours. If you haven't got a ticket, only £1. £1 per entry. Winner takes 500. Going to announce the winner tomorrow morning and announce the new raffle prize, which is even bigger than that one, physically bigger, and it's a cracker. You'll enjoy it. Quite a few of you are telling me to look at Samuel Luckhurst about Elanga. What's he been saying? Elanga will not be short of clubs. There you go. That one. Look at that. Yeah, it seems. Is that cheap? I don't know. Let's have a look. What do you reckon about this? Man United have halved their asking price for Anthony Elanga to 10 million. This is coming from Samuel Luckhurst from the Manchester Evening News. 10 million seems really cheap. Really cheap. There's no way that he should be 10 million. I don't think so anyway. I don't think you'll be short of clubs that want to sign Elanga at all. I don't think he's... Sure, he doesn't have the technical ability to thrive in this Erik ten Hag Manchester United system, but he's clearly someone who's extremely disciplined, will listen to what the coach wants him to do, will be able to follow and execute those instructions. And in certain teams, I think he would be a decent buy. But yeah, there's no way that he should be going for 10 mil. 10 mil is what we're looking at with maybe, I don't know, that's like Alex Telles or Eric Bailly. Well, they're going to be going for somewhere between 5 and 10 mil. But yeah, no chance. Chaos, you're saying, Sam, did the FA Cup tickets get claimed? They did. Brandon, and he's emailed, he's reached out. He was already going down to London to watch it in a pub, but now he's getting to watch it in the stadium. So big up to you, Brandon, and big up to everybody who entered that giveaway. I love the giveaways we've done on here. Brighton FA Cup semi, FA Cup final, League Cup final, and the 3 raffles. Xbox One, PS5, and 500 quid, and the next one that's coming up soon. And there will be more giveaways, and there will be more there'll be a spot prize on Friday. There'll be another raffle. It's wicked. You are helping this community go up, onwards and upwards. Even if you all complain about how small the names are on that board, because we get linked to 495,000 players every 3 days. Let me see what you're saying down here. Elanga at Brighton or Brentford would be a good, unreal. Brentford in particular, I think Brighton are slightly more technical. Well, they are definitely more technical than Brentford, but we would be good at Brentford. Chris, you're saying, Sam, do you think Avram will be there on Saturday? I think Avram will be there on Saturday. Remember that Man United have footed a £500,000 bill for 2 private flights for Avram Glazer and his daughter to the Women's FA Cup final and the League Cup final. You might say, look, as an owner of the club, you're allowed to expense things like that. Yeah, sure. But 250 grand on a single flight is insane. Is insane. That is I don't know what you're doing, I don't know what plane you're on there, but that is basically as much as you possibly could spend on it. So if he's not taking dividends, he's taking money out of the club in another way. So I imagine that means that this weekend we're looking at another 250. So that's nearly plus Man United paid for his trip to Qatar, where he was there to watch the football, but the club paid for it. So it's almost like you said you were there for business expenses. Almost like you said you were there for work. So all in all, that's probably going to be £1 million spent on Avram Glazer flights this year. Fucking hell. John McNulty, you're going to need a new whiteboard for every week of the transfer window. Peter Griffith saying it's the optician's test. That's quite a funny one. I enjoyed that comment. That is a good one. Let me see what else is being said down here. I don't want to miss anything, and then we'll probably wrap the show up. Man, it's so... I wish you could see all the comments that you guys and girls send in. Really is amazing. Love this community. My God, there's so many chat. Jeez, you're making the chat go crazy. But look, we'll wrap this one up, I think, for today. I'm going to be doing my starting 11 for the FA Cup final. That's going to go out in an hour and a half, if they're thereabouts. All right. Will Anthony be fit to start? Who will Man United play because Martial is injured? There's lots of questions. I'm going to run through it in that video. Big up to everybody this morning. I hope you enjoy the new studio. Well, I say new studio setup. It's slightly tweaked. We've got 2 posters on the wall instead of 1. We've got a mannequin over there, creating space for this monstrosity of a board, which will be there all summer long with all the players we're linked to. I might try and change the colors so you can see it a little bit more. I can't really bring it any further. Could I? Maybe I could. Maybe I'll try and figure out a way to bring it closer because then you can see it a little bit more. But big up to everybody. Much love. I'll see you tomorrow. And make sure you check out the City Starting 11 video.